Brilliance Audio.
Talk of the Town by Jennifer Bardsley. Performed by Amy Landon, Scott Merriman, and Tamika Caton Donegal. Peter loved starting the day at Carol's Diner. He craved the rush of carbohydrates turbocharging his system, the fluffy stack of pancakes, melted butter, and little cups of real maple syrup. Carol served syrup in individual portions since it was so expensive, but she brought out 2 cups for Peter without asking. Peter appreciated that about her. She took care of him. He would have overtipped even if she hadn't given him extra syrup. Peter always sat at the counter instead of a booth, so that it was easier to talk with the older woman while she flew around the diner tending to customers. He valued their familiar routine. But today, when he showed up for breakfast, his normal seat was taped off. "Sorry," said Carol. "The counter is closed for deep cleaning." "What?" Peter stared at the blocked-off area in shock. "Where am I supposed to sit?" Carol put her hands on her voluminous hips. "There's a booth available if you don't mind sharing." "Sure, if you don't think the other customers will care." Peter's stomach growled. He was desperate for pancakes. "They won't mind one bit." Carol's eyes twinkled. "Right over there." She waved at a booth by the window where 2 women were already seated. Peter vaguely recognized one of them from high school. "Here you go," said Carol. "Courtney and Lexi, meet my #1 customer, Peter Marshal." "Oh, we've met," said the woman in the velour tracksuit, fuzzy with cat hair. "Hi," Peter waved. "Courtney, right? I think you might have been 2 grades behind me." "You remembered!" Courtney jumped up and hugged him. Peter froze before awkwardly patting her shoulder blade. When they separated, he noticed cat fur dusting his sleeve. He attempted to brush it away since he was allergic to cats, but it stuck to him like glitter. "Sorry about that," said Courtney. "My cats say hello." "Cats as in plural?" Peter asked. "I only have 4 cats now," said Courtney. "Unless you count the ones in the basement." Peter struggled with how to respond to that statement. "I haven't gotten the chance to say hello," said the other woman in the booth, batting her thick eyelashes. "Lexi Britt, nice to meet you." She held out her hand, palm down, as if Peter was supposed to kiss it. Lexi wore a tight sweater with a deep V-neck that showed off her cleavage. "Nice to meet you, too." Peter shook Lexi's hand. It felt like holding a dead fish. "My duty is done here," said Carol. "I take it you want your usual, Peter?" "That'd be great," Peter nodded. "Thanks." He looked back at the booth, considering his options. Either he sat next to an allergy bomb or the woman with a tilapia handshake. Peter chose the seat next to Lexi and slid onto the bench. "Thanks for sharing. The diner's packed today." "Our pleasure." Lexi clicked her long fingernails on the table. "So, Peter, tell us about yourself." "There's not much to tell. I've lived in Skagitown all my life, except for college and summers in Alaska when I was younger." "Alaska?" Courtney twirled a lock of cherry-red hair around her fingertips. "What were you doing up there?" "Working at a cannery to pay for college." Peter looked away for a second to see if Carol was on her way with a glass of water. He never ordered coffee with breakfast because he drank coffee afterward with his coworker Noelle. They were usually the first 2 people in the office together, and Peter treasured that alone time with her. It was too bad he wasn't eating breakfast with Noelle instead. Peter would do anything for Noelle. He had read the same thriller she'd checked out from the library just so he could talk to her about it. He had taken the blame for her when Rick, the owner of Windswept Realty, had gotten mad that the thermostat had been cranked up to 70 instead of 66.